Thank you. Thank you very much. Hello and welcome to the Andrew Eborn Show on board the River Thames with my very good friend Bubba. How are you, Bubba?
I'm so good.
It is wonderful. She is better than good. She's my #1 fan because it's so hot out here. We have assembled the great and good sitting next to people they may not necessarily want to sit next to, but it's on Bubba's boat. And what we're going to do, the Andrew Eborn Show is coming live from the River Thames. And the idea is this. It's all about peace and love. And I always say, don't I? Always say that as soon as the love of power is surpassed by the power of love, that is how we get peace. Is that right, people?
Yeah.
Go on. So, welcome on board. We're going to be doing this regularly. Bubba, tell me all about it. How did this all start?
Well,
You've got the mics. Oh, look at you. You're a professional. You know what you've done it.
We're ready. Okay, so we've got boats, and my partner, he had a lot of boats, and he said, listen, you need to come and do events, the peace and love events on the boats. And I thought, I don't think people will love that. They came, and they just completely loved it. I fell in love with it, and then so did everybody else. And the thing is, we don't charge.
Isn't that great? And we always talk, rather than the P&L, the profit and loss. See what I did there? It's now
love
about.
that.
Isn't that good?
What was it?
I did the profit and loss. Instead of the profit and loss, it's peace and love. Is that
That's
good?
right.
And I always say that a fee is a fair exchange of energy. Is that
That's
cool?
what we do, and we love that.
And energy
Yeah.
is everything. And what we love about this little gathering, and we only met a few days ago,
Yeah.
but we bonded instantly. We suddenly thought, this is what we want to try and do.
Yeah,
we would
it's
get the
great.
most fabulous people that we can find
Yeah.
on a regular basis. And rather than my doing all just the studio stuff, we will come here, eat. Boy, I'm so starving, you know, what's going on here? We
Fabulous home-cooked food.
Best home-cooked food ever.
Yeah.
And the biggest appetite that we have is for conversation.
Yeah.
Because what happens?
Wonderful.
Jaw, not war.
I love it. Ooh.
We love it. We're just little sound bites, basically, you
We're
and I.
literally little sound
But
bites.
you have, whilst people eat, you've got a fascinating story. I mean, tell me about your earliest memory.
My father telling me when I was 5 that I was going to be a revolutionary of love.
Revolutionary of love, that's
Yeah.
good. A role.
He was a revolutionary, Venezuelan revolutionary. And so, yeah, that was going to be my destiny. But then I decided to become a peacepreneur.
A peacepreneur.
Not an entrepreneur.
You're just changing the language like Trump changes the language.
Peacepreneur. And so, yeah, went into business and decided to become unashamedly expensive.
That's good.
So that the money could go to peace initiatives.
But talk about that business, because it's quite unique. We're living in a very divided world at the moment. There's wars going on everywhere. You're doing some wonderful things with those decommissioned weapons. Talk to me about that.
Thank you. Well, in Mozambique, after the civil war, there was 16 million weapons left over that spread all about in warehouses. And we got access to that and thought, this is the most fantastic resource. And how could we do that? Well, smelting them into fabulous things.
And I do love this. This is a frog.
Made from AK-47s.
That is amazing.
And,
Isn't that great?
yeah.
As you do.
And bracelets from bullets.
Bracelets from bullets. BFB.
Yeah, BFB.
BFB.
And so I wanted to create statement symbols, not status symbols, that looked beautiful and that the money would go to good. So when somebody goes to Bulgari or Katia and spends millions on a piece of jewelry, I want them to do that with peace and love. Same with the bag, a Birkin that's maybe $1 million, $2 million. I think they should have a peace and love bag that's beautiful, that's got a decommissioned clasp, and the money goes to spreading unity.
And I think that's wonderful. And what I love about, we're in Chelsea, and people think, well, all those wars are happening miles and miles away. One of the biggest issues in London at the moment is knife crime. And you've adapted your mission to that. Tell me about that.
So I'm a youth worker, and I've done a lot of youth work in Mozambique and in Venezuela, where it was all about guns. And when I came over, I got bitten by a spider, and we did. And
but it wasn't any spider. It was
a
violin spider, which I know about these violin spiders.
And so while having our treatment here, I was volunteering at Earl's Court Youth Centre.
Right.
Big shout out to Abdi, who we love. That was my manager there.
Well done, Abdi.
And yeah, absolute legend. And he would just sort of told me really how dire the whole knife crime was. And I was like, but we're in Chelsea, darling.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, it's huge. So it's something that's a real issue. And the fact that Snapchat and TikTok are being used as a platform for kids to actually put the schools into color and then turn up at the park with zombie knives. I was like, but that's completely crazy. I didn't realize. And then I wanted to do something about it. So we're going to smelt donated and confiscated knives here
nice.
in London, on the decks of our boats.
That's all you want.
And turn them to unashamedly fabulous products.
It is such a
And that will
brilliant
go to fighting knife crime in Chelsea, in London, to then spread across the UK.
Yeah.
So,
and what I love about it as well, people always say, look, it takes a village to bring up a child. And so much at the moment, people are blaming, whether it's the school or it's the parents or whatever it is. Yeah. What we need to do is have positive role models for people. So there's a good influence rather than a negative one. And that's what we're doing at Peace and Love, isn't it?
That's really what we're doing. And there's so many people that are doing wonderful things. Like Abdi Amin at Earl's Court Youth Centre, like Charlotte Wall, who's with the police. And she's helping us smelt the knives that are going to arrive on the boats. And there's just, there's so many people. We do all this together. And I think that's what's important. Bigging up the police, bigging up the youth centres, role models, Chelsea Academy, Holland Park, Hill House. So we're taking both ends of the spectrum in Chelsea because we've got such extreme wealth. And actually 41% under the poverty line.
It is incredible. And Chelsea's almost unique from that sort of way. You've got maximum wealth next to abject poverty.
It really is. And it's sort of right there in front of, both of it is in front of each other. So, if somebody who has more means is held up by somebody else for a watch or something, they'll use the knife. Yeah. So it actually affects people who maybe they think it doesn't. And so it's something that's united everybody. And that's, I'm sure, one of the reasons why we got so much love from the council, from Ben Coleman, from the MP for Chelsea and Fulham, from the schools, from the police, the Port of London Authority, who's allowing us to do all this on the boat. So we've been getting a lot of love.
I love it. Well, love was brought today as well. A very good friend of mine, Alison Jackson, the BAFTA award. Isn't she great? The BAFTA winning artist.
I'm such a fan.
She's also a counsellor in Chelsea.
Yeah.
And one of the initiatives that she's been involved is basically encouraging children creatively to getting them out there photography.
It's fantastic.
So they give them cameras, they go and snap all the things. We're going to start collaborating on that sort of basis.
Yes, we are. I'm so excited about that.
And she's loving that. So it's really good.
And we're getting a pier, which is there at Chelsea Bridge, called the Peace and Love Pier.
The Peace and Love Pier, the PLP.
PLP.
IHA. I hate acronyms.
We're doing it. It's so she wants to be a part of it.
She does.
So many people want to be a part of this pier. We're doing a sort of floating flotilla.
A floating flotilla. Is there anything other than a floating flotilla?
That's true.
The ones that sink in the Titanic. I mean, that's it's not.
I've been having champagne, so I'm
That's good. You can celebrate.
So it's going to be floating up the river,
right?
And it's going to be bands, the biggest bands, musicians, the police and the fire people on the river, and we're going to show that London is united.
That's what you want.
Not divided, and that we're all behind knife crime.
Yes.
And I'm gonna, it's something that really matters to me, and I want to do that, and then take it globally. Yeah. Because actually, what we need to do.
Oh, come on, absolutely.
Is come together.
We do want to come. If only there were a song there by the Beatles, that would help.
If only.
But we can't clear that; it's too expensive.
Oh, come on, Paul. Come on, Paul McCartney.
Well, we actually, there's lots of fabulous residents here. What we've said, it's an open invitation. We're going to be doing this on a regular basis, the Andrew Eborn Show, live from these different boats.
I think it's a fabulous
We're going to get great guests round here talking about the conversation, because as I say, George or not war. We love that sort of stuff. A bit of background on you, though, because it's been an extraordinary life, a few husbands along the way, some criminality with some of the family.
Yes.
Talk to me about your journey.
So my father was a Venezuelan revolutionary. and I'm very proud about this, pulled off South America's biggest bank robbery without getting caught or hurting anybody to fund the cause back in Venezuela. And because I'm a peacepreneur,
I
that word wasn't going to become a bank robber, so I decided to start a bank. And so that's the Peace and Love Bank. That's what we're doing.
And the way that works is basically you put in, you take out. It's rather like the Bank of Dave. We were talking about that movie.
Yeah, that really is. So basically, I was inspired by Mohammed Yunus, who started his micro bank, the Greenman Bank. And I thought, wow, wouldn't it be wonderful? Because I'm not crazy about bankers or banks in general. So it's something that I sort of thought, you know, we're going to do a bank. And in Mozambique, on this little island, there's a bit like Chelsea. A lot of people are very wealthy. So we've got the Prime Minister, the President, and the ministers. And then we've got quite a lot of people who are, don't have a lot of money. And 85% unemployment there. So people were asking me for loans and for jobs, and I thought decom. That's how it grew. And then we were thinking of ideas of how we could do that. And then I had $100, and I decided to give a loan. And instead of people paying me back, because I hate debt, and I hate the fact that people get into debt, so what if they did nice things on this island? And that's how it grew. And then suddenly it was more and more people and more. And then the UN heard about us. And that's how we got a lot of love from the UN. And then we brought it to London. And that's how the Peace and Love Bank was conceptualized.
Brilliant.
Grassroots all the way, Andrew.
We love it. I love the bank of Bubba, the Bob.
Bob. Oh, he's done it again. It's another acronym.
We love the acronym.
On fire here.
Right.
It just happens.
Love lives are always interesting. You've had an interesting love life. A few marriages along the way. I like the smile. What do you want to tell me?
Well, I always like to think that private life means private. I mean, I'm going to tell you something, Andrew.
Yes.
I'm not interested in hearing about other people's private life.
Okay.
I don't Google them. I never do that. So when it comes to my life, I've been very, very fortunate to have met somebody that I was with for many years. And he died in my arms when I was 36 and he was 40 in my farm in Venezuela. And then before that, I was married to somebody else who I left for this person. And I was married to a film director who made 1984, which is one of my favorite books. And
we're living 1984 at the moment.
We're living 1984, and he made Il Postino, which is one of my favorite films.
Yeah.
And he's a wonderful man, and I feel very, very lucky. And we stayed very close, and I have children, and some biological, some that I've taken on, whether through paperwork or not. And so, yeah. And then I met Henry.
Henry, the fabulous Henry.
The fabulous Henry.
Oh, he gets a round of applause to Henry. Look at that. I'm not sure if the applause is for Henry or for you for taking him on.
A Yorkshireman.
A Yorkshireman. How did you two meet?
So our friends put us onto this hilarious thing. I've been a widow for a long time, and they said, listen, they put us onto this thing called Guardian Soulmates,
right?
Which doesn't exist anymore.
Okay.
And
GSM.
GSM, he's done it again. Let's monetize this, guys. Every time he has an acronym, let's put it into Peace and Love and an NFT. God, they just keep coming out. So, yeah, so we got to know each other for 6 months without knowing each other's surnames or anything, seeing each other, and then he flew out for our first proper date to Mozambique.
So you'd never seen each other before? It was all...
No.
What? How did that...
Imagine my surprise.
I imagine your surprise, how wonderful Bubba was.
That was before all the millennials were doing all this dating stuff online. It was completely unheard of. Because I think you should get to know somebody and not care about what they look like or how much money they have in the bank or if they are from royalty or not.
Yes.
And
is he?
Definitely not.
Definitely not.
I think that those things, I was raised never to treat everybody the same.
Prince and pauper treat them the same. Isn't that right?
Absolutely. That's how my father was raised. And yeah, so.
Well, you are a wonderful company. I love this initiative. We will carry on doing this. We're going to have more conversations. But for now, Bubba, thank you very much indeed. We're going to have a little break. You can watch us while we eat, and we're going to come back with some more fascinating guests. Well, hello, and a very warm welcome back to the Andrew Eborn Show with me, Andrew Eborn. Well, who else? Well, I'll tell you who else. A very special guest, Amanda.
Hello, Andrew. Thank you for having me on board with Andrew.
On board with Andrew. This is what we love. So, I've been looking at the brilliant stuff that you do.
Oh, thank you.
Brilliant stuff. Encouraging children. I always say, show me a child to the age of 7 and I'll show you the man. Well, it wasn't me. I think it was Socrates first, but what do I know? But the basic principle is that, and focusing on children's education, the spotlight on the child. What got you started?
Well, my background actually was fitness. I was a sports coach. I was a fitness instructor. And I was managing leisure centres all around London Borough of Ealing.
Okay. I
was put on a music and movement course in '91. I thought,
what's a music and movement course?
Music and movement course. Well, they teach us ideas of what to do with children to get them active. And I just thought, I'm going to love this, teaching preschoolers. So these are teeny weenies, Andrew, from 4 months to 4 years.
How do you get a 4-month-old doing stuff? What's that about? What? Yes, dance! You're not dancing enough, child!
Babies, Andrew.
Yes.
Obviously, they're in their mum's arms, but it's all about
father's arms.
You know, getting used. Yeah, exactly. Getting used to the loudness of the music, just watching the other children, touching, feeling the props. Because what I do to get them stimulated is I use music and props. So it could be spider balls, pom-poms, streamers, shaky eggs, maracas, dinosaurs, you name it.
Yes.
So we work with all these props in a physical and a fun way, link the prop to a song, then link it to the early years foundation stage. So for instance, if I was to put out a load of what's called cush balls, they're like these
Are these the ones that look furry things? Yeah, I love
they're like
those.
stringy little balls. If a child holds it like this, Andrew, that develops their pinch grip whilst they're singing Incy Wincy Spider. So then they can develop their writing.
No, sorry. You're going to trigger something here. that violin spider.
I should have used Grand Old Duke of York as an example.
Yes, don't mention the Duke of York. What is this? I'm so sorry, everybody.
Yes, Andrew, I rock up at nurseries, I hire venues, kids' members clubs. And I just love what I do, watching these children develop through this little concept. It's interesting, isn't it?
It was actually Aristotle, not Socrates, by the way. But thank you for not picking me up. But it's down to what I love about it. I used to do this thing, and that's why I mentioned it's fathers as well as mothers.
Yes, of course.
We used to do swimming nature, is what it was called, where we would take the really small, the babies, and learning swimming, because that's really good at bonding. So doing that sort of physical stuff, it's developing that, but it's also, as we talked about beforehand, developing the bond between the parents.
And also it's the social aspect for the child, because they just, just watching them interact.
Number one fan, thank you.
Watching the children interact with each other, it's just hilarious. I skip to work and I have fun every day because I know what I do works.
And you also have, you have some very interesting clients. I know you can talk about them because they're on your website. So talk to me.
About some of them.
Well, I'll remind you who's on your website. Johnny Depp. Tell me about Johnny Depp. He's on your website.
He's not on my website. No. No, let's talk about. Well, basically, what happened was I started my classes, and then parents would say to me, "Can you do what you do at your session at my child's birthday party?" And I'm a bit of a blagger, so I thought, fantastic, I'll become a children's entertainer. But then my first big, I suppose, celebrity party was David and Victoria Beckham's World Cup party.
I've heard of them.
Yeah. So I was asked to do entertainment for their children's charity.
And who? Oh, for the charity?
Yes, for the charity, for their children's charity for children with disabilities. Okay. And it was amazing. So.
And what did you do for them?
So exactly what I do in the class. So it's my parties to pick up that concept, take it to people's homes or a venue of their choice, but it's more fun rather than education. And then I think Amanda Holden, she contacted me and said, well, if you're good enough for the Beckhams, I'd like you. And then Mark Owen from Take That, he used to attend my classes on Wandsworth Common. And then I just got this tag as celebrity children's entertainer. And
that's good. But you've also, with Johnny Depp, how did that come about?
I don't know where you've got that one.
Just Balbir, but who must remain nameless. He said. What's that? Brad, and he also told me about Brad Pitt and Angelina.
Oh, yes.
Is that true?
Yes, I
can't
Angelina
talk about
when they
that
were
one,
together. Andrew, but,
yes. Well, he told me all about
many years ago.
Why? How did that come about?
Oh, I can't talk about that one, Andrew.
You can talk about, because I've heard you talk about it, the former Prime Minister, otherwise known in this parish as Boris Johnson.
Exactly.
So you've been entertaining there.
Yeah.
And everybody said, and what I was told is that it was a miracle that you got him involved and put him up in a dinosaur thing. And I said, it's a miracle not to. Boris is front and centre of dressing up. How did that come about?
Boris and
it's true, isn't it?
Absolutely love dressing up each year for their children. So I think he's been in a Fireman Sam outfit, dinosaurs, fairy wings and pixie
Fairy
ears.
wings, have you got that one?
Yes, we've got that one, yeah. But we just have lots of fun. They are brilliant parents, and their parties.
The reality is this, that we are all the same. You know, if you prick me, do I not bleed? If you tickle me, do I not laugh? And we often say, it's quite appropriate, that people say we're all on the same boat. We're not on the same boat.
We are on the boat
We're
today.
not. We are
on the
today.
same boat today.
What I would say when people say we're on the boat, because people have different circumstances, I would say we're on the same river, but not on the same boat. And how we navigate it, is that better? Is that better?
Very good.
That was very good. So we do that. How we navigate that sort of Parliament, you're very influential. Tell me about what you're up to.
Well, my friend Balbir.
You can't mention it. He said very specifically, don't mention Balbir, so I will not mention Balbir ever.
But we have to, because he's
you can't mention Balbir. Anybody would think Balbir brought us all together, but I won't mention Balbir because he told me not to. Okay, Balbir.
I was asked to get involved and sponsor a ceremonial mace for the Children's Parliament.
Okay, that's good.
And the Children's Parliament started with the amazing Sir David Amos, who unfortunately was brutally attacked. And it was David's wish to give children a voice and a choice. And he started these online debates with children that went really well. And then I got involved, and I just thought, right, so, you know, how does Action Amanda get involved with Parliament? What's the link there? But I teach the British values in nurseries.
What are the British values? What are they?
Being independent, kind, fairness. It's just wonderful. And so then I was asked to go to a school to teach a democracy lesson.
A democracy lesson for children?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what we did, the children had a little voting card with all different food choices.
Yes.
And so they were able to put a cross by the food that they would like to eat.
Good.
And then the majority of the votes, that food would be cooked by the chef.
But didn't they just all do, what is it, turkey Twizzlers or whatever?
It wasn't the healthiest choice that won, Andrew. It was actually pizza.
It was pizza.
But it was a really
Would you like a bit of salad?
It was a really good activity. And then I said, look, I make kids music. Music makes the world go round.
Yes.
We need the democracy song.
Music is the food of love. And you have that democracy. You sang it for me earlier.
I did.
How does it go?
Okay. Children like to choose. They choose throughout the day. They both vote for books. They both the fair away. I'm not the best singer, but Alison Wheeler.
Even better after a couple of glasses of this stuff.
Alison Wheeler from the lead singer, last lead singer of The Beautiful South.
I love The Beautiful South.
She created the democracy song. And so now what we do, we have this mace tour that goes around the schools. We choose 2 children MPs.
Right.
We talk about democracy. We talk about the Children's Parliament. We talk about Sir David Amos. And then I perform with my breakdancer, Will Be. The breakdancer. We perform the democracy song workout, because what we're also saying is, if you have an active body, you have an active mind, and you need that to do the debates in Parliament.
And this is the way, the biggest winner in any election at the moment is apathy.
Yes.
And the sooner and the younger that you can get people involved, the better. One of the things we've spoken about with Henry and Bubba is exactly that, giving children a voice where they can ask the questions that really matter to them.
Yes.
And if we can do that and encourage those young minds to think, that's got to be good.
And then it's going to culminate on October the 15th, the 5th year of the anniversary of Children's Parliament, and children will be debating about other children with special needs. That's going to be
I love it. Children helping children.
Yeah.
People who want to find find out more about you, my usual commission, tell us how we can find you.
They can go to my website, Andrew.
You have a website,
Amanda'sActionClub.co.uk or Instagram. People call me Action Amanda via Instagram.
It is so good. It is such a pleasure. You're a brilliant guest. Thank you very much. Hey, we're up for Amanda!
Thank you, everyone.
Wonderful stuff. We're going to take another break while people eat their desserts. In the meantime, we'll see you in a couple of minutes.
Bye for now.
Wonderful stuff. Well, a very warm welcome back. It is a very warm welcome back. Actually, 88 degrees. Can you believe it? Two fat ladies. You could say in the olden days. You can't say that anymore for bingo callers. We're totally PC here. We're on to the trifle calls, which is very good. Trifle, we like a bit of trifle. Actually, there's a lawyer's thing. At the bottom of lawyers' menus, they put de minimis non curat lex, which means the law doesn't put up with trifles. It's true. It's true. But I don't think it means it that sort of way. You know what I mean. It's got to be good. We would like. Oh, look at you! Oh, fantastic! The secret man! The secret man! That is beautiful. But we should all praise. So up all night. It wasn't you. No, you're not going. But your mum, where is she?
Well, she's there.
Oh, she's moved here now. The chef. Thank you so much. Fantastic. What I love about this, we're getting to meet people, some for the first time.
Yeah.
But we're talking about Amanda, and you've actually helping her with one of her initiatives. Tell me about that.
So the fabulous Balbiv put Amanda and I together with Henry, and we've got boats, and we thought, love the Kids Parliament.
Yes.
Love what they're doing. They need a boat.
They do.
And they need it in front of Houses of Parliament. And so we are donating the boat for that.
How good is that?
So it's, the kids are going
Well
to...
done. I love it.
So, yeah.
I love it. I was invited to the Mayor of Westminster, his farewell thing. A wonderful guy, Paul. He's done service for like years and years and years. He's just said goodbye. The Mayor's office there, which we should get, overlooks the whole of the City of London, the whole of the London bit for that sort of side. Absolutely sensational. We should get, what we're going to try and do, we're going to stream some of those debates. Because giving the kids the power to be on television, on that sort of thing, isn't that good? Should we do that? So watch this space on that sort of basis. What sort of time frame are we talking about?
Sort of immediately, because we've got the boat.
Sort of immediately, because you've got the boat.
As in it just arrived a few weeks ago, so we just have to moor it up in front. Yeah, because our ones move, so that's why we thought it'd be really great for October.
Debates on the boat.
Debates on the boat for the kids.
We're very keen, and this is the initiative that we started with the Andrew Eborn Show. We're going to be doing lots of these live things. Everybody's welcome as guests. We're going to be filming the children to the extent we're allowed to, but they will hold people's feet to the fire in ways that they don't.
Oh, they
Isn't
literally show it.
Yeah?
Yeah. Big up for the kids.
And it's so important we don't just ask the questions, but question those answers.
I love it.
And kids, another soundbite for us, and kids are brilliant at that, aren't they?
They are, and that's why we have this thing called Peace Freaks.
Yes.
Which is for kids by kids.
That's good.
So basically giving them a platform that's not monetized.
Yes.
That they can actually speak to each other. So as a youth worker, the concept was that you'd take a Ukrainian and a Russian kid without their parents there.
Yes.
No feedback, no interference, and just allow them to have a conversation.
Absolutely.
As hard as that might be, or an Israeli or a Palestinian child. And the concept that really inspired me was a thing called Breaking the Ice.
Right.
And it was a group of Israeli and Palestinian kids that went on a boat to Antarctica. And they made a pact never to kill each other when they came back.
Right.
It seems like a simple thing, right? But actually, when you look at then what that means going back into their culture, if they had more of those breaking the ice around the world, we'd be in a much better place.
Absolutely. And one of the TV programs that I'm presenting is about common ground, because we're living in such a divided age at the moment. Yeah. And most people, actually the vast majority, want peace. They don't want to fight each other. And the more we can find that common ground, the more likely we're going to get peace. Isn't that good?
What is it that unites us, not what makes us different? And I think our daughter, who when she was 6, we had to sort of explain to her that all these decommissioned weapons that were left in warehouses across Mozambique. Many of them had been legally made by the British government. And then it was like, oh, but is that bad? Well, yes, darling, people make weapons, but it's legal. And 6-year-olds, they don't lie. And she was just absolutely horrified. How can somebody who promotes peace be selling weapons? And so it's a conversation that they have with no filter. Absolutely no bullshit. And I love that. And that's what Peace Freaks is about. They make their own shows and they ask very strong questions.
Absolutely. And walk a mile in somebody else's moccasins. I think if you understand
it's
what they say.
It's so true. And they're going to inherit basically everything, all the mess ups we do. So it's never too early to start.
I love that format. And as always, we would encourage, if you'd like to be part of this, do get in touch. Follow me at Andrew Eborn, at Octopus TV. Do press that subscribe button now, because you will be on the show next time. You brought some brilliant people with you.
I have.
You have another brilliant person who would be looking at her phone now, but she's lost it.
It literally went in the river yesterday, because we have a lot of parties and meetings here. And she's Spanish Cuban, so she waves her hands around a lot in her fabulous way. And as she did it, the phone went like this, ooh, in slow motion, and we were all like, no. So Deandra is a friend, and somebody who put us together is somebody called Keith Makubu, who we're obsessed with. He's a community worker. Big out to Keith. He works at the job centre in Fulham. Does everything tirelessly to make community interest companies happen. That's how Peace and Love Community Interest happened. And Deandra's got Loose, which is a community interest company. He put us together, and he's an activator. A bit like Balbir.
You can't mention him.
The one we don't talk about. And so we connected on a personal level and also creatively. So we're going to do a very large museum floating, because London's the #1 place for museums.
It is.
And they don't have a floating one. So we're going to do her concept, which is the House of Illusions.
I love that. And the House of Illusions.
Tell us what it is.
We should talk about that. Maybe you could give her your microphone.
Oh, that might help.
How general? This is all about sharing and caring, community, which is all good. I want to share. Well, maybe we're all joining in the advert break. We'll come back to that one, which is wonderful. We talk about Museum of Illusion. There is one actually on Tottenham Court Road, which I went into earlier. Are you connected to that?
No, it's more like a film illusion, like how do you get into a scene. Like I want every single person feel like they're the protagonist and on their own scene and their own movie. So then we do like workshops in the morning, and when we help artists to develop, work script writing, storytelling. It's all about how to heal yourself through art.
Okay.
That's what my series is really about, and that's how we connected, because I help people with post-traumatic disorder to go through their traumas through art. So you can be a dancer, a script writer, a paint, food. That's why we also started doing food banks in the community. I'm based also in Chelsea. So we think that one of the biggest problems is food poverty, and food connect acts together.
Right.
Like now, and we create our own illusion. So.
And you're absolutely right, and we work on that sort of basis. The thing about art and music, for example, music therapy.
Exactly.
You have a wonderful organisation called Nordorf Robbins that basically they do that. They encourage people through music therapy. I've done a lot of work with them and Silver Clef, and they will get the people drumming and stuff like that. And people who might have been silent for years suddenly find a new connection as a result of it.
I mean, I've got a big trauma as a child, massive. So I couldn't talk, and years was passing, and the only way I would start talking, it was through films. So I'm a filmmaker, scriptwriter, director. So I started creating films, and that was my way of talking. That was the way of putting my trauma into those characters. And I thought that many like me, like another person, write music and the same. And I think it's our way of talking.
Well, you're absolutely right. And I have a lot of people on the Andrew Eborn Show, big celebrities, who turn around and talk about their own trauma.
Yeah.
And I always think it's very brave to do that. But what happens is that every person who listens to that story, they can relate.
Yeah.
And because somebody's in the public eye, it really helps on that sort of basis. You don't have to, but can you talk about your trauma? What happened?
It's a bit hard for me to talk, really.
I'm here with you.
Yeah. So, you sure?
If you want to.
I am a sexual abuse survivor child, but for many years. Yeah, and then I went through a lot of stuff. And I grew up, my mom is a big one in the TV back home. So I grew up between cameras and dance, and that was the tricky part, really. So I've been suffering many years, from 6 to 12. And then I ran because I didn't really know. And then I got into drugs, and then the drugs, and then I came to London, and it was all bad. But then I get study again. I start to do films. I start writing in Met Film School, University of West London, and I got back on track. But then I had a cancer, which I go through it, and after that, my life went like, you really need to help people, like it's the same as you, and give an example, as you said. If they see you, yeah, you went through, and you keep, because if I don't tell you, you will never think my life, it is the way it was.
Yes.
But because I keep smiling, and I think that's very important, and I want to have that example for some people.
Yeah, and you're so right. Well done, absolutely. And it is incredibly brave to talk about it, because so often the people who have the most out there exterior inside are tortured. And what's really powerful, and why it's so good that you speak about it, there will be people watching today who can relate to that.
Yeah.
So brave.
What advice would you give them?
They have to talk, in a way. If it's not with a friend, it's through art, it's through, but they really, once you start talking, you take out that guilty, because it's like you really feel you guilty, and the more you talk, the more you heal. Yeah.
And I think surrounding yourself with people who are supportive,
Exactly.
people who can listen to your story in a way that they can turn around and say, let's take strength from that.
Yeah.
You are not alone.
Exactly.
And I think that's such an important message. And thank you for sharing that.
So my pleasure.
Huge round of applause. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Well done.
Lovely.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll be meeting more of these wonderful guests. Don't touch that dial. Thank you. Well, what a warm welcome back to the Andrew Eborn Show. All aboard. We're here on the River Thames. I'm loving this, Bubba. Isn't this great?
Honestly, we've been having the best day. All aboard.
All aboard.
It's too good. I'm loving it.
I love it. And I tell you what I love is that we're meeting people from all walks of life.
Yeah, we are.
They've all got their own tales to tell. Very, very brave. Thank you for that. Lots of people will respond to that. And I know we were just discussing in the break that for many years you didn't have a voice.
No.
And to give you a voice now on this wonderful platform, it will help so many people. So thank you for that. Another big round of applause for being so brave.
Fantastic. She's so brave. I love her.
We have so many guests, and this is what we're going to do on a regular basis. If you would like to be part, as we say, do write to me at Andrew Eborn at Octopus TV. Do subscribe. Let us all know in the comments. You too could be on this boat with all of us. This boat is open to everybody.
It really is.
Isn't that good? Bubba, who's next?
Okay, so we've got a lovely guest who's going to introduce herself, because Balby just threw us together with her. So tell us about your fabulous self.
Let's do that.
Need the mic.
Well, we can pass the mic, drop the mic.
Wait, drop
the mic over there.
Mic
So,
drop.
you told me a little bit in the break about you and all about the legal side. Introduce yourself to the world.
So, hello everyone. I'm Maddie Schumann. I run my own commercial mediation company. It's MHMLA, but it's gonna trade soon as Schumann Strategic. I'm rebranding.
You're rebranding. Well, that's good.
That's good.
We love the rebranding. And what I love about mediation, absolutely the theme about today is about George or not war. Yeah. There's a great cartoon. It's a Punch cartoon I always refer to by an artist called J. Bright in the 18th century, who depicts litigation as a cow. You might have seen this word litigation written on. The plaintiff is pulling the horns of the cow. The defendant is pulling the tail. And the lawyers are milking the cow. And isn't that good? And so what mediation does is to make it
peace, amicable agreement, compromise. Exactly.
Peace and love. Yeah. So how did you get involved with that?
Well, I studied law. I worked in contract for over a decade. And then one day I thought, it's too many businesses just go through litigation without thinking. I'm not saying we don't need solicitors, okay? That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that we need to pay attention to how we draft our contracts. Contracts are essentials. No contract template, that's not a strategy. And one of my firm's slogans is we draft for breakdown, not the honeymoon. Because if you
that's good. Look at you. Draft a breakdown, not the honeymoon.
Not the honeymoon, okay? Because we all love to think, if I today go into business with, let's say, Anna or Ali, is everything's gonna be like pinky rosy for donkey's ears? You know what? There would be a day when Ali would say, actually, I don't want to do this anymore, or actually, maybe let's try to go different way. And then what's happened? If you nothing put down, what are you then? You see, agreements are only strong when your behavior, and contracts are behavioral because we're human beings, that behavior needs to go into that contract. As long as you have your roles, responsibilities, liabilities stated, you're protected. If you haven't got anything, you're not protected.
And it's the best time, I talk about this all the time, getting your rights right, and actually the best time to document what happens if. And that's what we're talking about.
Before I venture into a business with Ali or Anna or whoever, it needs to happen well before, not in the mid, not when you're having a dispute, before. We need to think before we enter into any kind of form of arrangement. Also, in my work, I've realized that a lot of freelancers has this idea that they don't see themselves as businesses. They are businesses. If you are a freelancer, it doesn't matter if you're a writer, a dancer, or an actor. You do have rights. You have to be able to negotiate. You can't just blindly sign because something's been thrown at your, face.
You're absolutely right. And one of the biggest lies in this industry is that everybody signs this.
Exactly.
And people are forced to, and I always say, we talk about it being show business. People are very good at the show bit, but sometimes lousy at the business bit. Yeah. And I think if you can turn around and say, educate people, and that's why I say, go back to the what if. All you're doing, the best lawyers, the best advisors will sit down whilst people are talking to each other, the best time to discuss, okay, what happens in this situation? Well, let's talk about, we'll agree that now. And that saves so much time later.
Of course, it's not just time, it's money, it's stress. And the other line that I like to use is, what would you rather spend your 20K? In a courtroom or on a fancy holiday?
Or supporting peace and love.
Exactly.
Yeah. Peace and love! Send that 20K, the 0800 numbers at the bottom.
Yeah, love it.
Brilliant stuff. So how do you work yourself? When you're sitting down with the people, what's the best advice you would give? You've got two parties fighting in front of you. What's your opening line?
So my joining line is, I usually request the evidence. Then I'm sitting with it, I'm going through, and then I have to phone them up and try to get, a feel whether they are still okay to sit at the same table, or is it better for me to have an individual discussion? But then I have to make it realistic, and my job is to de-escalate. So it really depends on who I'm dealing with. So sometimes it's a commercial decision more than legal or anything. Sometimes I have to involve a barrister with that.
I'm a barrister. I'm here. I'm available. I'll give you my money here, but it's got to be good.
I've got a good story that ties in with this.
Let me borrow this.
Pass that mic here
Pass the
for a
mic.
second, then I'm going to pass it back to you. You're going to like this. So when I met my husband, he said to me, he basically said to me for our first date that we should go and speak to a mediation therapist, counselor. And I thought, well,
on your first date,
I thought that was very, very unromantic. However, when he explained why, he said this. He was charming as hell, so whatever he said seemed amazing. But this actually has stuck many years, even nearly 20 years after he died, that you need to know how to talk to each other and listen to each other.
And that's clear communication.
When things are really good, when you're in the honeymoon period, and you just think literally everything they do is amazing, because when you're angry, you can't hear.
Right.
And he said, and this is the biggest, most romantic compliment anybody's ever paid me, I want to know how to listen to you so that we never have to split up and that there's never any miscommunication. And that's the most beautiful thing that somebody's ever done for me, is actually take time to invest in the future of what the couple could be, so you don't mess it up. And that's through mediation.
Is also, preserving the relationship. It's not just about business and expectations and your legacy. It's also preserving your relationship.
And it's kind of building a foundation, because it's based on something really nice.
And what's interesting as well is people, they say about prenups, and you're turning around prenuptial agreements. There you go, you can have one of those prenuptial agreements. And what happens? Don't lose the mic. Don't lose the mic. What happens? Prenuptial agreements. It's when you're sitting down. Actually, what you're saying is lovely. You're turning around and say, we're investing in our future, and what we're saying to turn around, if the whole thing fails, what happens?
Exactly.
And trying to find a way back to deal with that side.
Because that exactly resets you back. You've already set your expectations, and you've accounted what's if, and that allows you to de-escalate, to come down, think realistically, not in a la-la land, just keep within the realm.
That you can't actually hear. And you can't see because you're in sort of warrior mode, that you can't do that. So knowing how to actually do it is really, really important.
Talking about not hearing.
Yes, talk about not hearing. But when you're in your most angriest and you say somebody's hurt you or your thing and you can't hear the other person, that is when your defenses go up, and you actually cannot sometimes really do what's best for everybody, especially.
Damages you, damages your mental well-being too, because it's very stressful, drains your resources.
Oh, we could turn this into a dance.
What we're going to do, we're going to invest in lots of microphones next time. If you want to sponsor this channel,
we've invested in alcohol and food, and yet not many microphones.
What I do love, and this is the fundamental theme about peace and love, it's encouraging communication.
Really
and the same way as we're talking about prenups and so on and so forth, it's a conversation we're going to continue doing. But for now, thank you so much for being one of our guests.
Thank you.
We're going to go straight on. Do not change at all. The gentleman here looking terribly cool inside with the sunglasses. You've had a sip of your ginger beer.
Just arrived from Cannes.
He's just arrived from Cannes. He's got that glow about him, that wonderful haze. Tell us who you are.
First of all, I'm a dad.
A dad, a very proud dad. Is this your best production ever?
This is my last production.
Your last production?
I'm not doing any more.
Not doing any more. They always say the last production is the best.
Unless they mention that she was mine. She was mine.
She's run away now. Dad's big embarrassing.
It's so much fun embarrassing.
Oh, they love it. So what were you doing in Cannes? What were you promoting?
So in Cannes, we actually went to promote an initiative that will spread financial fluency to people in third world countries.
Okay, very good.
A lot of people have money, but often throughout their life, they might be penniless. So, for example, I met a singer. She's done more than 87 million songs.
87 million
views,
wow.
Streams.
I was going to say 80 million songs.
Sorry.
A lot.
Thank you.
Wow, that's huge.
And she had no money to even...
What's her name?
I can't tell you her name, but the point is she has a Range Rover, but she can't put fuel in it.
Right.
So, I helped to get into her comeback tour in Cannes, and the basics of life is, how do you provide? Back in the day when I was younger, we did this every day. We didn't think about costs. Now it's more transactional. At that time, it was about love. So often, my mother says, I live like the good old days in Goa, which are my roots, where the Peace and Love initiative bloomed in the 60s. I was part of the movement that started the Goa techno scene.
Okay.
I used to hold the cassettes at 13 for Goa Gill, for,
Isn't that brilliant?
11 Finger Eddie, who's died. So
Yes.
most of the generation has died. So when I see what is being done here, I feel like I'm living my childhood again, and it's beautiful because this is the way the world was when I grew up, and this is the way my children should be brought up. The values. The values are fairness, kindness, which are supposedly values of the British educational system.
Absolutely. If you can be anything in this world, be kind.
Exactly. So, today is a beautiful example of kindness. So, the reason I went to Cannes was the first time I went to Cannes, I spent 2 days and I hated it. And I just
Oh,
left.
really? What did you hate about it?
I just hated the toxicity, the attention grabbing. Uh, it's like, the hatred for each other. And there's a lot of that in the kind of showbiz industry because the minute you come up, it's all about me rather than everybody else. Exactly. So
I always say that envy is the thief of joy.
that's
And
beautiful.
so often in this industry, people resent other
Sure.
people's success, and we should be celebrating. Isn't that
Exactly.
right?
Absolutely.
Celebrate that success. And what I want and what I love about this initiative is that sort of let's promote that sort of stuff. It's okay for everybody to succeed, and I think don't resent it. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Exactly. So this time I went to do it on my own terms. So we had 10 days where we opened doors for everybody. It didn't matter who it was.
Right.
I love
And
that.
Yeah.
just before I went there, Baba told me about a boat that be there in Cannes. So to some extent, we did the groundwork and community building for that. This lovely lady.
Oh, is that right?
Yes, of really very, very good party.
I had a
On
good
a
party.
boat out in the villa.
Hey, love it.
So Maddie just signed up to one of the things that we put out there. She came for 3 days.
Yeah.
So she was part of what we did. But, this is some things that we've been doing with somebody I won't mention whose name is.
Yes. The B word. It's like don't mention Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. They just turn up.
I'll call him Mr. Blessed
He is
from now on.
blessed. It is a choice.
So Mr. Blessed
Yeah.
keeps showering the blessings on the world, and to me, seeing Mr. Blessed rise from a bed where he could not move, and what he does every day for a lot of people, for the community, is motivation that all of us can be basically blessed, and all of us have room, and the pie only gets bigger with all the blessings that we give to each other.
Absolutely. It is such a lovely message. I want to finish on one point because you talk about 87 million streams. The music industry has had seismic change in the value of those streams, and people now are getting pennies. So 87 million is not necessarily financially viable. Tell me about that. Is that crazy?
So this is a singer when the streams actually meant something, but we also did a villa party with the Michael Jackson family.
Yes.
We had people like the lady who sang "We Are Family" singing for us. Sister Sledge.
Sister Sledge, I was gonna
We
say,
had the Black Sabbath singer in the house basically participate. So we had all these different legends. Obviously, one day I will be doing something like a Live Aid initiative,
Okay.
in the future.
Well, Harvey Goldsmith is a neighbour and a friend. Who was
Yes.
the original
So,
Live Aid.
we met Goldsmith and friends and the sound engineer of the folks that did that. But the point
Harvey's
is,
been on the Andrew Eborn Show as well. Do check that out because there's a way of connecting. I always say history repeats itself because we don't learn the lessons from history. But what we can do is share knowledge. So all of the things and the great story about Live Aid and how everybody came together to be united. It will save you so much time, that amount of homework.
So we're going to do something beyond what Harvey did. Basically, what Harvey didn't do was he didn't put the grassroots initiatives in Africa. It was more about the music, and Africa is not about famine. And 1 in 4 people in Africa are going to be the working force and the human capital of the world. So we're going to focus on those angles to push forward rather than the music.
Okay.
Obviously, the music of the 80s might be missing because of how music is today, and like you say, streams. What really matters is trying to use Harvey's concept and vision to actually grow what we can from bottom up rather than top down. So this is where we can all work together, and we've got some beautiful things going on that we can take from Bubba, from Mr. Blessed, from you, from Maddie, from all these lovely examples to show that, humanity is still alive, and we can give the children a voice to show us the way forward.
Absolutely. Children are our future. We will continue this story. Well, I love this, but for now, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Fantastic. We're going to keep on going because we love all of this.
Keep on going.
We love it. Tell us about your friend next door.
Before we do that, Andrew,
yes,
I'm going to tell you something that I think you're particularly going to like.
Oh, now good.
Now you're very boaty.
I'm very boaty. Is that a good word?
Yes, because he's actually been here for years, and everyone's looking for him, and we've just sort of kidnapped him.
Nobody knows where I am.
We've just hit this bunker. So, to the B. Balby, who we're not supposed to talk about, you know what I told him? I said, Balby, I want you to get me a decommissioned warship.
Yes.
For the Cannes Film Festival next year, to be in the marina, because Peace and Love want to be having their parties there with the UN Goodwill Ambassadors.
Lovely.
And we want a space in the marina.
Brilliant.
So, of course, Balby went, oh, my God, the things I ask. And then I said, actually, I'd like another 2 from the British Navy, because we'd like to have them that go around. So, you see, boats and Cannes.
I know we've done it.
Everything fits on, and look how it's going to tie in.
Look at you with your segue.
That's a real segue there.
Oh, you're just a professional. You had to hand over your mic though, just to show how professional you are. I won't remind you, but you'll just do it seamlessly, and nobody will notice.
She's a really good friend of mine, so we'll have to find you.
Absolutely. Tell us all. Wonderful stuff. Fantastic. Fantastic.
The bathing suit with.
This is.
Yes.
My fabulous friend, Laurie Gordon.
Laurie Gordon. A big round of applause to Laurie.
Who's flown from Montreal to be with us, and of course Cannes. So she did Cannes, and now she's here, and she stays on the boats because we got put together by my brother, who said that we were both as crazy as each other and had to meet. So she came. I was in Italy, and she stayed on my boat for a week.
Isn't that lovely?
Fell in love with it.
And we know lots of people together, including Simon Napier-Bell.
Yes,
absolutely.
Who I interviewed in Cannes, because I work on a couple of different projects in Cannes. I met you for the first time in a conversation on Zoom in Cannes.
And it all keeps going back to Cannes.
And
yes, we can, is what they say.
And I worked with her brother on a project in Cannes. And after I had been at the Festival de Cannes, so it was all like that. And then, and I stayed on for Music International Cannes, who I do with some of our mutual friends, including, Simon, that's where I interviewed Simon Napier-Bell. And, of course, Ian Penman.
Yes.
And then, so basically, as a...
I heard she does fabulous festivals. I heard she has a thing called Animes, which she told me is the most fantastic animation festival. And I basically harassed her until I basically harassed her when I heard that she'd done the Animes festival, and said she had to join Peace and Love and then manage all the festival parts and events.
Wonderful.
And turned out that our rescue dog and her rescue dog are going to get married.
Oh, how lovely is that?
And so that's what did it. Otherwise, she's far too busy.
Can you make sure they do the prenup? Otherwise, we're going to have problems, okay?
We've got a mediator there.
We could call it rough justice. See what I did there?
The good news is that Charlie's fixed. So.
Oh, is that? Oh, Charlie's fixed. So there are no grandchildren. Oh, poor old Charlie.
Actually, he's a leftover doggy that because of puppy mills and overbreeding and selling puppies for, money because you can't even pay them for their surrogate stuff. And then at the end, they're just, especially after the COVID crisis, there was a huge amount of people that, left them after they needed to.
It is a scandal because they always wanted to work on that sort of basis. You get dogs, but yours is a cross, isn't it? You've got a bit of corgi and a bit of
Chihuahua.
So it's Chihuahua or whatever. But I love it.
Yes. Chihuahua and your beautiful French poodle.
Yes.
So a Frenchie that was sold for drugs in Chelsea and got saved, and we didn't know if she liked the boats at all because she'd been traumatized. I think she was just so happy.
That's really interesting because
to be saved, and she loves it.
She was sold for drugs?
Yeah.
So here's Charlie's story. His human owner died of a drug overdose.
No.
Oh my gosh.
And can I suggest, without being funny about it, the reason he's called Charlie is because of the drug reference.
Well, which I had zero clue at all.
That's what I suggested. It's true. This is what they did.
Did you guys know that?
And cheeky.
It's true.
Say the theory.
Wait a minute, I've got it.
No, we know that.
See, I'm lucky. The one mic that doesn't go anywhere is the one on me.
We know that's how the dog was sold for drugs.
Yeah.
So because they're worth crazy amounts of money.
They are.
And people spend up to £4,000 or £5,000 on a dog.
It is crazy.
And it's just crazy when you should only get rescue. And
my mother, what I was going to say is my mother rescued lots of dogs.
Right.
We had 18 horses. Right. We had at one stage 100 dogs.
Oh.
I mean, all in a lovely little council flat, 2 up, 2 down. No, it's a big farm. But what we did, it was trying to do that sort of stuff. And I remember going shopping with her, and she'd get all this dog food and cat food and everything else, maybe a can of beans for us. And that was the glorious thing. But it was brilliant. It's really interesting. A dog is a man's best friend.
Absolutely.
A girl's best friend, diamonds. How fair is that?
Yeah.
So what's
Give me a
what's
dog.
that about? What's that about? Marketing is good.
All the ladies tell the guy was a horse.
Why do we love the horse? It's got to be good.
And if you're going to have a ring, it's a peace and love ring.
And that's got to be true.
Rose quartz thrown in because they're from miners in Mozambique.
And we love that sort of stuff. We love that. It's going to be good. And you yourself, we were talking about this earlier, you're the Swiss Army knife of the entertainment industry because you deal with so many different things. Singer-songwriter, animation, and so on and so forth. Tell me about the singer-songwriter side.
Okay, so basically, my mother was a concert pianist from Budapest. Everyone's from there. Music. So of course, resist. So it was piano, and then no, and then it was just, discos and, But then my sister was a bit older, and she always brought home the vinyls. And of course, that's where I was introduced. Because before that, it's like, classical music and piano and the classic Liszt and Rachmaninoff and all this stuff. And then it's like from the room, right, over there. And
yeah, absolutely.
My sister scratched vinyl, and then the neighbors down there who were like beer parties and cigarettes and everything. And I was 4, so my mother moved out of the neighborhood. Yeah, but but the music influence
stayed with you.
Yeah, so it was a lot of exposure to classical music and so on. But ultimately, I always knew I needed a beat behind me. So and then I finished music school and university in Montreal, and film was also a secondary but parallel interest. And then on my way to making a music video, I heard about a homeless guy on the streets of Montreal who used to be, rumor had it he was an Oscar-nominated homeless guy.
I love this story. You've got to see this film.
And this is how I got into animation.
Okay.
So he, we lived in a kind of cool, now regentrified and all this stuff, but, we always find the good neighborhoods and the good situations. So it's a neighborhood called Le Plateau in Montreal, and there's a street called Boulevard Saint Laurent, and it divides the city from east to west. And there's a very famous delicatessen there called Schwartz's.
Okay.
And everybody goes to Schwartz's. If you're a meat eater, you got to do the smoked meat sandwich. So and this guy named Ryan used to panhandle in front of there for spare change because they were generous there because lots of tourists and stuff. But he in 1969 was Oscar nominated at 26 years old. Against Walt Disney for a short animated film called Walking.
Okay.
And it is really one of the ultimate pieces of hand-drawn animation, period.
Right.
So Ryan became absolute like essential school curriculum and all the animation schools around the world. And he was from, protege of Norman McLaren.
Okay.
So, and who came over from Scotland to head off the National Film Board of Canada. And Ryan was his protege at 14 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. And so basically Ryan, but I didn't know any of this, and so then all this stuff, and then 70, 71, alcohol, drugs, blah, 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 da, 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 da. I didn't know. And then.
Not her.
No, I understand.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. Yes, right.
I was 5. No.
Yes.
And but ultimately I met him after all this stuff. Had no idea who this guy was. There was a newscast on the CBC and about this guy that was living nearby, and I decided to introduce myself, and I thought I had seen him before. Anyway, I just had the idea of making a music video with him.
Oh, lovely. And what's the music video called?
Well, it went through different things, but it became his first animation film in 35 years.
Okay.
And we did it. We completed it in. Well, there's a documentary about it, so I could send you all.
Well, no, we should find it.
But
So,
tell us what happened.
as a parallel, while I met him, the weird thing that you can't invent.
yes.
Was there was a movie. The first time I met him, he said somebody's making a movie on me. I didn't really think about it because
Right.
everybody's making a movie, everyone's writing a song, everyone's launching something, and I really didn't think about it for the next X amount of months. And we were working sort of without any funds towards making a music video idea. Even though I'm not an animator. I had the sense to realize that animation is very laborious and very precise. And he lived in the Mission Brewery.
Right.
He lived in a public a homeless shelter.
Amazing.
And so parallel all this stuff, and we're trying to do stuff. Like rumor has it, this film about him starts to come out, and one of his panhandler friends said, "Hey, you guys, we'd meet on the street. You guys really got to start making your movie. It's Ryan's time. It's Ryan's time." What is it? Oh, it's just got it's just won the best short at the Cannes Film Festival.
Wow.
Couldn't make this up.
That's brilliant.
Well,
And then what
yeah.
happened? Say.
Then the pressure started because it was the campaign. So it's like this would have been if it was in May, so it was nominated, and then the whole, of course, Oscar buzz, right? So that means from May to next February. So that's like 8 months, whatever, of pure pressure. And he was a public guy, had nowhere to go. So everyone knew where to find him. And suddenly he was a star.
Because he was faking.
And then film is called Ryan.
Oh, Ryan. Okay, fine. So we should check that. People forget that, and people are so hungry. I talk from all people and from all walks of life. People are so hungry for fame, and when they get it, they're so hungry for privacy. And you turn around and be careful what you wish for. And actually talking to people, and so often fame is a fickle mistress. You'll get very famous, and then the next day you'll be unknown again.
And ultimately that film, after 8 months, it did win the Oscar.
Brilliant.
Yeah. It was weird because Ryan, well, yeah, so basically it did allow, I mean, people, by this time it was so much pressure because it's all this is pressure. This is hard on everybody here. It's hard.
Was so much pressure on him.
Yes.
I think what she's trying to say is from somebody who was living on the streets, who obviously had some quite mental health issues.
More so an alcohol problem.
An alcohol problem, to then suddenly be sort of with all the
hey, here's $20, poor guy.
Just suddenly having to do the Cannes Film Festival.
It's and people forget that, don't they?
People in the street going, "Oh my God, you're famous! Oh, the Oscar!" And it was just too much for him.
And I get it too much because, as I say, fame is a fickle mistress. You'll get that flash, the Andy Warhol 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
And actually, that's worse because what happens is people get so comfortable, they get used to that lifestyle, and then it's taken away. And all the people who you upset on the way up, they're the people you meet on the way down, and you get treated badly. And so many people in the industry, and we'll talk about them on this boat. We'll get lots of very famous people and how they cope with it.
Yeah.
One bit of advice, we're going to carry on this conversation, but one bit of advice then, with people who have experienced fame, how should they deal with it?
I think they have to keep their private life private. I think you have a limit of exposure. If you have way too much, if you're on whatever you're doing, everybody wants something from you, and you have to stay friggin' sharp as possible.
I agree with that very much.
And don't care too much, because at the end of the day, as long as you're happy and there's an exchange of energy. Like one little example. The day I was leaving Cannes, I was there for like a month and a half, and I was coming to London after the Cannes Film Festival, after Cannes Music International Cannes, which follows Cannes, which I'm going to next week in Cannes. I was at Zara. It was my last day. I'm going to buy these shoes, and I'm going to do this, and I got to pay my landlord, and I got some money in my pocket. And instead of taking what I actually needed to pay him, I took the whole thing because anyway, it wasn't that whole, but it was whole enough that I was like, I had to go to the police. I was pickpocketed in Zara. And so the next day I was on a plane, like no last swim in the Mediterranean. And Bubba, who we've been talking about, I couldn't wait to meet, says, hey, the boat's going to be empty for a week. You want to stay here? The boat's going to be empty for a week. Now I've known them for almost a year now. That doesn't happen.
Right.
That does not happen. And I said to me, I could not afford, or let's say be even on, a certain dock at a certain moment in time, especially after I got robbed. And I said, that is really cool. I love that because that was like your gift. It's okay. We'll take care of you. And it was just beautiful timing.
A beautiful time. What we're going to do on these festivals, Bubba, he has a wonderful way of communicating with you. He pokes me with his stick, which is what he's doing behind us. I don't know what it means. But he keeps poking me. What we're going to do, as these events go on, we're going to be organising a screen so we can get people from around the world can join in the conversation as well. So very good. We'll carry on this conversation, but for now, a huge round of applause. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Bubba will poke me with a stick yet again. Do not touch that dial. Hello and a warm welcome back. Thank you. There we go. The live audience I booked up. And what's left of Andrew Eborn after a whole day on the boat. It's been brilliant. We're joined. If you want to get ahead, get a hat. Well, you've certainly got a hat. Who are you?
Who am I? That's a good question. I'm Graciliana, but people call me Grazi. And I run Vertical Cinema Club. So
okay,
what
what's
is
that?
The Vertical Cinema Club? So we all use our phones, right? So we're all watching this now. This is Vertical. And I just been to Cannes and I saw a lot of momentum and a lot of interesting experimental cinema coming out of this. And I want to start this in the UK. So our first event will be next Thursday. You're all welcome to come.
Where is it?
It's going to be in Vutorini's. I don't know if you know this members club in Tower at Gateway.
And we can all get in?
Yeah, I'll send you the links and everything.
Get in.
You'll get
What
listed.
does your phone do? I'm completely untechnical.
What my phone does.
What is it that it does, Danny?
Well, it's not my phone, but more like everybody has their phone and everybody's watching their phone nowadays. So the question is, where is cinema going if everybody's watching this? So how about translating cinema into a vertical format? Because right now we are more used to the horizontal.
And what I love about your phone, like a lot of businesses, it folds, doesn't it? There you go, so you've got to be careful. The interesting thing, and that's the discussion that they talk about, change the name of television. I do the podcast for the Royal Television Society, and people say people don't watch television anymore because that's a device. What I say, what we should talk about is content. And you're right, the way that things evolve is about content, and it's about doing that, if you like. So it's not cinema, it's saying you've got these different devices, so it's adapting that accordingly.
Basically, yeah.
And how you came up with the concept, or you're just part of it? What's the story?
I came up with the concept because previously South by Southwest came last year, and that inspired me to do a little more an unofficial kind of alternative South by Southwest, and I call it Control Alt Create. Not delete, do not delete, Control Alt Create. And so I put artists, and I was also working with startups, so I brought creative startups together to talk about the future of creativity, which as an artist, I want to know where all of this rapid change is going, and how do we as younger artists navigate this world with, like, every year there's a new change. Like, what are we supposed to do?
Absolutely. I talk around the world about AI. I want to put
the
AI into Britain, see what I did there. And I always say that it's potentially our greatest human achievement, but also is existential threat.
It is.
Where do you stand on AI and the future of creativity?
Well, like everything, every technology has pros and cons. It's a tool, so it depends on how do we use it. I think regulation might be quite important role in all of this, because we have to think about what's right and what is wrong. Like, just getting all the, you know, other artists like content, just like that copy pasted, that is not okay. But if we can creatively do something with it and being kind of like hybrid, then that kind of makes sense, because that turns us into a more, we can explore another layer to it. So I think that's the way to go.
Absolutely. You've got to respect the copyright owners. I always say copyright is like any other property. It's theft if you take it without permission. It's very important. We'll carry on this discussion. It's lovely to meet you. Big round of applause for our guests. We're going to pass the mic. We're going to pass the mic. I'm going to go down this side, and we're going to finish with the star of the show afterwards. We're going to do both of you two, if that's okay. Now, we've had a lot of people with injuries today. This has been about poor old the various people. They've had all sorts of terrible spider bites and so on and so forth. You know, this has been the theme. So this is going to be sponsored by lawyers who've been chasing ambulances. They can do all of this sort of stuff. So if you've had an injury in the last 3 years, do get in touch. Gentlemen, first of all, tell us what happened to you.
Well, let's start. My name is Adrian Balika, and I am the real, I'm just hearing stuff about Dracula everywhere and all that, but I am the real founder of Vlad Emperor Brand and Dracula Society, so it's me, the real one. I'm from Transylvania. I guess be careful what you wish for. I'm getting that.
It's very good. So if you want to give blood, it's a different appeal. I didn't know that was going to come from.
I just actually saw this stuff.
Oh, he's got, what have we got here?
It's like it's my little finger.
Oh, look at you.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm glad it's the little finger and not the middle finger. What happened? Tell us about the injury. What happened?
I do a lot of stuff. Well, apart from being artist and all that stuff, I do restore art. So basically, it happened last year. I've been dealing with stuff for 8 months, 3 operations, and now I recently decided that I'm gonna just amputate the finger because I don't take painkillers. So I'm just like constant pain. And I'm just like, why do I put myself?
And what do the doctors say? It's obviously a dramatic thing to decide.
But the real story, because behind the finger, I made a pinky promise with a little fairy, and I didn't keep my promise. That's the real deal. Everything what I said.
And what was his name, the little fairy?
She's a little girl that I promised that we're gonna. She said, "Can you promise me, pinky promise, that we're gonna paint together?" And I say yes, and it didn't happen. And after that, I had an accident. So magic is real.
What I love is it's humor in adversity. If you can laugh in the face of adversity, all credit to you. Well, we wish you. A speedy recovery is a horrible decision to make. But you yourself are an artist. We were talking about that glorious creation. I don't know if you can people can see it, but actually, this is your artwork, which I think deserves a huge round of applause, because I think.
But I love the shoes.
The shoes as well. I love the shoes. So I love it. So you are a creative force. So tell me about your artwork.
Oof. I've been through a lot of trauma. Of course, I managed to finally decide to I was part of an international project, Souls United in Art, and we managed to launch the book this year in UK.
I love that concept.
I do love that concept.
United Art.
Souls United in Art. So if people want to find out more about you, and they can buy your T-shirts, because you were Portobello Market, weren't you?
Yeah, I have small. I always I learn that I need to have to do a lot of things in case that the end of the world is coming, and just have your
wear lots of hats.
Yeah,
there are some here, But what I love is that on this show, we're going to be having lots of people from all sorts of creative forces, all about creativity and positivity. We're going to be doing fashion. We're going to be having shows and so on and so forth. I would love for you to come back and let's have a further discussion about that. But for now, we wish you every success with your health. And one more thing, yes, go for it.
I'm working on this anime project and movie between fantasy and reality. But it's real stuff about my life. And I just want to actually... was trying to publish my book about real my life and politic implication.
So give us a 30-second pitch, because I deal with publishers around the world.
Between fantasy and
30-second pitch. What is your book? Just straight to camera. 30-second pitch.
Fantasy and reality, and it's a small story that we managed to launch this year in Souls United in Art. But between fantasy and reality, it's gonna be like something biblical, real, like about everything is real. People there. I just want to put it in anime and comic stuff, because it's
Sometimes it's more powerful when you see an image.
And it's, I mean, my level, I don't know, I understand people energy. It's about the fairy from my dreams, and she lives in Chelsea, and I scared her off.
The fairy in Chelsea?
Yeah, she lives in Chelsea, and because of my work, I know.
Behave yourself, Henry.
Dracula Society.
I think Henry's met that fairy.
Let's leave it.
The Chelsea.
Hasn't everybody?
If anybody
The
knows
fairy.
who that one is, let us know.
I mean, their name is in the book, so. But I've done that.
We will hear more. Your local here, your Portobello Market. We're going to have a look at that. Big round of applause. Right, good, wonderful guys. Thank you. Henry, take the mic.
Oh, yes.
Henry, take the mic. Now, Henry, you're the other reason that we're here. You are the captain of all these ships. We've heard all about you and how you met with Bubba. Fantastic. What do you hope to achieve with these glorious meetings that we can do on a regular basis? We've decided this works for us, doesn't it?
It
works really beautifully.
We're having a lot of fun.
We are. I'm just going to stay here. You just wheel them in. I'll chat to anybody. It's going to be.
No,
Henry, what do you hope to achieve?
You are here to be indoctrinated into peace and love. This is why we're here, and it'll grow in this environment, you know.
We love the indoctrination. Come on with your peace and love. Tell us about your background, Henry.
Travelled a lot.
On motorbikes, very fast.
Oh, really? What motorbikes did you drive?
He builds them. He's
Right.
with motorbikes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, you know.
Harley?
I'm more of a looker than a tinkerer, shall we say.
Okay.
But, no, I've just done a lot of motorbike travel around the world for many years, and
My sister got married in the Harley Davidson place in Las Vegas. They went on Route 66 beforehand. I gave her away because our father's so long to here. So we love motorbikes. What's your favourite motorbike?
Oh, I've got Motor Guzzi's, 1970s Motor Guzzi.
All of them. You do? Okay.
It's a sidestep. So
And is there a battle between you and Bubba because she wants to melt it down to make jewellery?
Oh, no, there'll be none of that.
There'll
be none of that. So yeah.
Thank you, we will do. But we're making a decommissioned.
Okay.
motorbike.
Oh, that's
We
good.
are.
That is a compromise. That's right.
Yeah.
Peace and love motorbike.
I love that.
Decommissioned weapons. And so
We've surrendered to peace and love. We're just on it, and we're trying to make motorbikes. We're trying to make
We love that.
gyms. We're trying to make absolutely fucking everything.
Absolutely.
And it's fantastic.
Everything is fantastic.
So we decided to do it all of it at once. Yeah.
Very good. We're going to be hearing more from Henry throughout all of this sort of thing.
Oh,
For now, thank you very much for your hospitality.
You're very welcome, sir.
Brilliant, Henry. I want to finish the Andrew Eborn Show with the star of the show, without whom I would be a much skinnier version than I can of myself. The matriarch of this glorious peace and love. Would you mind passing the mic for the final word? For the final word, for my superstar guest. Tell everybody who you are and why actually the reason that we're here is because of you.
Well, my name's Lisa St. Aubin de Terran, and I'm Iselle, and otherwise known as Bubba's mother, and I'm a novelist. And when I was 16 years old, I was benignly stalked by a Venezuelan revolutionary in exile in London, and he insisted via an interpreter that he'd die if I didn't marry him. And feeling that was
is that right?
Unfortunate, I went to the Lambeth Registry Office after a year of this, and with an interpreter, I married El Señor Jaime Terran, who's Iselle's father. Then I went off to Venezuela with him and farmed sugar on the hacienda that had been in his family for 400 years. And while I was there, the peasant workers told me, over a period of 7 years, they told me their stories and the history of the hacienda. And they asked me to tell their story. And that's how I started writing. I'd written a series of short stories about these people and the history they told me. And Tom Mashler from Jonathan Cape said, well, just string them together and call it a novel.
There you go. And people want to find out about your books. How can they find them?
Online, probably. So I've now published 21 books.
Okay.
And very recently, in fact, 2 days ago, The Hobby, my latest novel, came out in paperback. And that's unusual for me because it's a thriller. Don't usually write thrillers, but I saw an interview from a detective at Scotland Yard, and he was asked what his most challenging case had been. And it was this case that I wrote about called The Hobby, which is a kind of gruesome book, but if, like me, you love reading thrillers, I suppose it's something that people
fantastic. So
want
do
to
check
read.
that out. You've had such a rich life, and we're going to unpack that because you're going to be here the regular with these wonderful sit-down meals. What I want to do, first of all, what has been your proudest moment, apart from the birth of your wonderful daughter?
Well, do you see, I'm not usually stuck for words, but there, I'm stuck for words. I don't know, really. I can't say.
I think it's her foundation, you know. I remember growing up, and my mother,
There you go.
and my mother having these huge dinner parties, and you know, she was at Groucho's because she was one of the founder members there, and used to live there, and we'd always wanted, my brothers and sisters and I wanted more time with her because she managed to have such an incredible career. And she said, always told us that she wanted to start a foundation in Africa. Her father, my grandfather, known as the gentle revolutionary, young Karoo, made a huge legacy. And so even though she had such an accomplished career, the fact that she went off and started a foundation in Mozambique to help people, I think that's something we're the most proud of as her children and the family. And on top of it, yeah. So, and she's the most incredible grandmother as well. She managed to fit it all in, Andrew.
It is incredible.
Enormous dinner parties, all of it.
Yeah, please, okay.
Oh, go on.
Iselle came out to Mozambique
Yes.
for come and stay with me for 3 weeks with her little baby daughter, Che.
Yes.
And she told me what she'd been working on in the UK while I'd been, you know, setting up schools and stuff in Mozambique. And she showed me her concept for peace and love. And I think that was probably my proudest moment because I said, that is such a brilliant idea.
It is a lovely idea.
I actually dropped a lot of the things that I'd been working on and I said, I'll just be your assistant, get it done.
No, brilliant. I love it.
Tirelessly helping me behind the scenes, tirelessly making this happen, like so many people who support her. But on top of it, she'll do all that and then sort of throw a fabulous dinner party.
Yeah. And it's such a great initiative, and this is what I love. It is a movement, work on that space. So everybody talking, and it's always very humbling when people are reluctant to talk about their proudest moment. What has been your biggest regret?
Well, there are a few regrets. My biggest financial regret was saying no to Whoopi Goldberg 3 times when she tried to buy my memoir, The Hacienda, for £500,000. And
oh, is that right?
I said no, because a friend of mine was trying to make a movie which had a slight crossover. And then I said no, and you know, it didn't happen.
So Whoopi never misses an episode of the Andrew Eborn Show. What would you like to say to her now, directly to camera?
Whoopi, if you're still interested.
Whoopi, it's still there.
It is still there.
I want Whoopi to marry Peter Cushing. It could be Whoopi Cushion. That would be brilliant.
Wow. Well, you get some very weird.
She actually would.
You get some very weird names in Latin America because you become like, I'm Lisa Sintobin de Terán. People think, oh, you must be very aristocratic. No, I'm the chattel of Jaime Terán. That's how it goes. It just means married too. But if you've got your name happens to be something like Hugo, which means juice, and you marry somebody called Alberto Pino, you become Hugo de Pino, you know, pineapple juice.
Well, but,
it happens all the time.
No, but it's also hyphenated names. It was actually illegitimate people because they combined both the mother and the father when they weren't that sort of stuff. It sounds posh, but actually it was...
it's really not.
Well, when I went to Venezuela, I wanted to just have one name. And a friend of mine said, no, if you go to the Andes, nobody will speak to you if they don't know who you are and what your family are. Right. You all have, you know, sort of 16 names. So unless you keep a few, you'll be an absolute outcast. So when I came back to England and then after publishing my first book, I said to Tom Masher, well, I want to just drop a few names now. He said, oh, no, I've worked so hard to make you famous. You will keep that name.
Absolutely. Finally, looking back on your wonderful life, your wonderful career, the great things that you've achieved, including with Bubba and this piece in it, how would you like people to remember you?
Buy my books. They're, for me, incredibly important. The reason why I set up a foundation was because I felt very uncomfortable making loads of money from doing something that I love and I don't do commercially at all. So I promised myself when I'm 50, I'm going to just give it all back.
Fantastic. It has been an absolute, thank you so much for your hospitality. Huge round of applause and standing ovation, I think. Lovely. Standing, thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. Well, that's it for the Andrew Eborn Show Live, the inaugural one here with Bubba, the Peace and Love Initiative. We're going to carry this on, so don't forget to subscribe. Join me next time. But for now, thank you to all of my guests. Peace and love. We'll see you soon. Thanks so much.